There's a line of thinking that says if Social Security is running out of money, then the best idea is to start your payments as soon as possible. The idea is that you'd get your full monthly payment until about 2033, and then if benefits get cut after that, at least you would have locked in several years of those bigger payments before any cuts. I can appreciate that viewpoint, but I also wanted to look at the numbers and see how it might actually play out. In this video, I'll walk through a free online tool that you can use to put in your own numbers and model any future benefit cuts. I'll also show some better visuals that help to illustrate the concepts using Income Lab, which is a financial planning tool for risk-based guardrails. For years, we've heard that the Social Security Trust Fund is running out of money, and the latest estimates say that'll happen around 2033. And then at that point, the money coming into the system through payroll taxes, for example, might be enough to pay 75 to 80% of benefits. That brings up a conundrum. Do you get it while you can? Or if you were planning to delay, do you stay on that path so that you'll have as much as possible after any cuts to the program? Keep in mind that we don't even know if there will be any meaningful cuts to Social Security payments, or at least for your generation. There are a variety of ways to adjust the program so that those big cuts aren't necessary. And these projections you see, they all assume that nothing happens, that lawmakers take no actions. And remember, there might be a variety of good reasons to claim early, but if your primary concern is what you're seeing in the news about the Social Security Trust Fund, then I think going through these exercises is exactly what you need to figure out how things look. All right, so diving into Open Social Security here, this is a free tool you can use, and to find it, you can just Google Open Social Security, like you see at the top there. Shout out to Mike Piper, who built this. It's generally very well regarded in the retirement planning world. And it has you enter some information, but I'm going to strongly suggest, and for this, you really want to, I think you should always click there to look at a couple of extra things. One is the mortality table, so we can change your life expectancy. The other one right now, especially, is this possible future rate cut, and I'm going to check the box for discount rate just to make sure that it's showing. So we have somebody born in 1965, and their PIA, that's the primary insurance amount, is the amount you would get if you claim at your full retirement age. So that's with no reductions or extra delayed retirement credits on top. It's just your base benefit at full retirement age. And the defaults here on Open Social Security would be the life expectancy from the Social Security tables. But I'm going to suggest that you change that. And what I've found talking to people is that if people assume that they have a short life expectancy, they're just going to claim at age 62, and that might make the most sense. But we're talking about a case where maybe you were not going to claim at 62, but you're wondering if you should just because of all these headlines. So let's enter a higher number here. I'm going to go with 90. I think that a lot of you should probably use a higher number than that, but I don't want to put my thumb on the scale too much here. So we're just going to go with age 90, which is maybe a little longer than some people think and a little shorter than other people think. So when we ask it, first of all, we're going to say, no, there will be no Social Security benefit cut in the future. And in that case, it's saying that this person should claim at age 70. But what if we do throw in that cut? So in the year 2033, we see a reduction of 23%. What does it say about your claiming age then? And once again, we have age 70. So that benefit cut for somebody who was otherwise thinking of claiming at 70, for this person at least, might make sense just to ignore the potential benefit cut. And let's see, what kind of cut would it take? Let's say 33%. Wow. Even that's not enough. If there was a 50% cut, okay, in that case, it's saying go ahead and claim at age 62. But we're going to go back to 23% because that's closer to what the projections say. And we're going to click around a little bit more in here just to see what kind of insight we can get. Let's scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to change the age when this person claims to age 62 just to get a comparison. So I've clicked on the far left end, or you could do the drop downs here, but they're claiming at age 62. And we do have the benefit cut in there. Then the present value, this is the scorecard that Open Social Security uses. This is the way they compare one option versus another, is the present value. And we're going to get into the weeds a little bit here, forgive me, but this is going to say when we add up the value of all the future payments and we apply some sort of discount rate to them or not, then the amount or the value of those payments is a certain number. So the strategy of age 62, the strategy we selected, is about 348,000 versus at age 70 about 371,000, which is a difference of negative 23K. So that is to say that it was a bigger benefit, a bigger total present value if you delay until age 70. And that is, again, even with those benefit cuts. Now, let's just say, what if benefits don't get cut? In that case, it's more like 62,000. So we're comparing again, it would be negative 23,000 if the benefits do get cut versus an even bigger loss of claiming early if you go at age 62 versus 70 and there is no benefit cut. Now, present value is interesting because the default here on Open Social Security is to use a discount rate. And without, again, getting into the weeds, I'll just say this. When you have a discount rate, the number in here is going to suggest that you claim earlier. That's going to make earlier claiming look better. And the reason is that it favors the money you're getting today, and it discounts or makes the money you're going to get in 10 years or future years less valuable. So if we change the discount rate to 0%, we go back to our comparison down at the bottom, the differences are quite a bit bigger, right? So the difference in the present value is negative 100,000 if you claim at age 62 versus at age 70. And, none of this is to say definitely do this or don't do that, but it's important to know this information. Now, just to give you a little bit of a better view of what that discount rate might do or what that might mean, we can look at a situation here where somebody is, again, got that 90-year life expectancy. We've got the reduction in 2033 of 23%, and there is no opportunity cost or discount rate here. That's the same thing, opportunity cost or discount rate. In this case, it is suggesting to claim at age 70. This is Income Lab, by the way, and it shows that a break-even point is about age 82. But if we apply this opportunity cost of 2.3%, I guess it was 2.41, wasn't it? When we apply the opportunity cost, you're going to see a flatter chart here. The other chart had more of a slope to it, so that age 62 had a lower total lifetime benefit and present value, or this is just the total, but then we switch to present value and we say the total lifetime benefit, it's a flatter chart. So once again, you can see that adding a discount rate or an opportunity cost is going to favor claiming early. It's going to make it not look as good to claim later, even if you have this nice long life expectancy. All right, now let's do a married couple. Before I do that, I see that we have not looked at age 62 with no benefit cut. And in that case, again, the present value difference grows from about 100,000 to 166,000, and that's negative, indicating that it says you should still wait until age 70 with that life expectancy of 90 and all the other assumptions. Now, adding in a spouse, we're going to say this person is married. That person is also age 65. And we're going to go with 1,000 on the PIA. That way there is some spousal benefit here. And again, same life expectancy, 90. Age 90, we'll go back to 2.41% just to see what that looks like. And we do have yes checked here for there's going to be a cut in Social Security benefits. And the strategy it's recommending by default here is almost age 70 for the higher earner, and then 66 and 5 months for the lower earner. That's almost their full retirement age at 67. By the way, if we get rid of the Social Security cut, I bet you it's going to be a little bit different. And it's going to say that the high earner is almost at age 70 again, and then the low earner exactly at full retirement age. And doing this right at full retirement age will make the spousal benefit, using the term loosely, exactly half of the higher earners benefit. But if they go a little bit earlier, it'll shrink just a bit. And in fact, the calculator here says, well, if there is that cut, and assuming the discount rate and all these other things, maybe you do want to turn it on a couple of months early. So this is a married couple, with what we're seeing so far is that with the benefit cut, it only changed the claiming by a couple of months, if that. So let's scroll all the way down to the bottom and change somebody's claiming age to age 62. Often the lower earner would do that, maybe claim at age 62. So let's have the lower earning spouse. All right, I'm going to click a spot on the graph here that's pretty close to your claiming age, but I'm going to make the spouse claim at age 62. So here we have spouse at age 62. You're at 69 and 9. I think that's pretty close to where we were. I think I'll just click submit, even though it already tells us the present value of that strategy. So all we did was claimed earlier for the lower spouse was about $5,000 less, which is, not huge. So I don't know that that's a bad idea to deviate a little bit from what the calculator shows. And by the way, the green area here, anywhere in there is what it would tell you is pretty high in terms of the total present value. By the way, what do we mean by present value when we use this as a scorecard? This is maybe interesting to know. So we can say, look, if you're going to give me $100 in 11 years and I could earn 5% of my money, then I don't really care if you give me $58 today or $100 in 11 years, because those are equivalent to me, assuming all other things are equal. There's no taxes, no risk or anything like that. That's what a present value is of a payment in 11 years. So we could say, well, that payment you're going to get from Social Security is not necessarily worth the full face value. We want to give it a value today. How do we evaluate it today with a present value? So we call it $58. And then the payment after that is going to be worth about $55. So we add up this $55 plus the 58 from the previous one, and we add them all up for all of the future years. And the total of those numbers is a present value. So when we look at it from today's perspective, it's about $5,000 less if you have that person claim early. And again, that's because it's assuming both of you live until exactly age 90. That might or might not happen. You could live longer, you could live shorter. The other thing I want to change here is the discount rate, because the discount rate will favor claiming early. It's always going to tell you to claim a little bit earlier. So if we want to do this, then we'll go to our results here, and we've got age 70 and 67. That makes sense because you're maximizing for the higher earner, and then you're also maximizing the spousal benefit for the lower earner. And this even assumes, yes, we did get a reduction. And by the way, so what does that mean? You can see that we've got the same number, 28,000. This is what a lot of calculators do, is show your benefits in today's dollars. We know that in the year 2042, there will be inflation between now and then, or most likely there will be. We don't know anything, but the 28,000 here is meant to show that your payments would give you 28,000 of purchasing power in 2042. But Social Security is inflation adjusted. So the amount that you would get in 2042, the number of dollars that hit your bank account, probably going to be bigger than 28,000, maybe in the 30s, maybe in the 40,000s, who knows? But it's going to be a bigger number that provides that exact same amount of purchasing power. So if we go back down to the bottom here, and we're going to do that same comparison, we had them going at 67 and 70, but I'm going to have the lower earner claim early at 62, that old split strategy, just to see what happens. And it's going to show a difference of about 23,000 negative present value if you have that person claim a little earlier. Again, that doesn't mean you shouldn't or that it's wrong. There are a variety of ways to think about Social Security, but keep that in mind. So I'm not saying don't take your benefits at age 62. That might be the right thing to do for a variety of reasons. And remember, we don't really know what will happen. The benefit cuts could be bigger than the 23% that we've assumed there. Or it's possible that certain changes happen and the benefit cuts, if any, would be smaller, more like 10%. Only time will tell. And I get that it's really scary to think about some big cuts to your Social Security because that makes up a significant portion of most people's retirement income. But the point I want to make is number one, you should look at the numbers and just see how it looks for you. Whatever it is, I can't predict that, but that should be enlightening for you. The way you hear some people describe it is that there's this huge opportunity to take the money and run right now. And if you don't do that, you're missing out. You're doing it wrong. But I think the reality is more that, well, first of all, it could be the wrong choice. Or if you do come out ahead, you might come out a little bit ahead. Although it is possible that you'll come out way ahead if you claim early. You can tell that I tend to think there's not a huge benefit to claiming early if the only reason you're doing it is these headlines about the Social Security Trust Fund. If you've got other reasons, that's great. But spend some time running the numbers. And remember, there's a saying that goes something like all models are wrong, but some models are useful. So you can get some information out of this, but it doesn't predict the future. Now, what can you do if you claimed early and you regret it? You probably have two options. One of them might be to withdraw your application. So if it's within 12 months of when you started benefits, you can pay everything back and essentially get yourself back to as if you had not claimed. A different option is to suspend your benefit, but you can only do that after you reach full retirement age. So if you have claimed early at 62, and maybe it's been more than a year, you're 63, 64. In that case, you may need to wait a little bit, but you could eventually suspend your benefit and get a little bit of increase after you do that. So your payments would stop, any spousal benefits would stop, other family members' payments would stop, but you'd get a slight increase for a couple of years, and then you could turn the benefits back on at age 70 or earlier. We've primarily been talking about maximizing the dollars that you get out of the system, which is valid. But there are other ways to look at Social Security, and the video popping up now should talk about some of those. So if you found this helpful, please leave a quick thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to talking with you soon.